Hi, everybody. I am so excited here to talk with Marisol Rocha. She's one of my dear friends and colleagues, and her and I have a lot in common because we're both integrative nutrition health coaches. We both got our certification in health coaching from IAN, and we're here to talk today to you about our differences. Even though we're the same in this area, Marisol's focus is really on longevity and age reversal. So Marisol, thank you for joining me today just for a little quick conversation about you and how you got into specifically age reversal.
Thank you so much, Terry. It's such a pleasure to be here with you. I love our conversations. It's so much fun. I don't know if you knew, but I don't know if many people know about me that I'm a yoga teacher. You know what happened? There was a point where I had to teach in order for me to do. So, if it was just to me for self-practice, I would be lazy, I would procrastinate. But if I would have people waiting for my class, even on Zoom, I'll go and deliver. And guess what? In the process of teaching, I would receive the benefits by doing. So that helped me to make a decision when we finished basically the same year during COVID a few years ago. And I had to make a decision. What should I do with this? How can I, refine and find my niche? And I knew I had a vocation to serve, to help others. I have a passion of learning, coming from background in biochemistry, in biotechnology, reading so many papers and working in labs. I love the learning part. So I thought, okay, I have to do something that while doing, I get the benefits. I get to share that with people, and I can channel my vocation of serving, helping others. So that's how I got into, okay, I need to do prevention. I want to live long years in perfect, optimal health.
Oh, yes.
So that was why I was able to find this prevention that I kind of covered with what we now know as age reversal. If you're working on rejuvenation, if you're working on reducing your biological age, by default, you are extending your health span. You are living longer years healthy with vitality, with, energy. And back then, when I made the decision, I was focused more on cancer. I did cancer research. So that was my first battle. If I couldn't find answers to cure cancer. I'm talking about 20 years ago. But then I thought, I'm going to find the ways to prevent.
Yeah.
So that was why I started in this world of prevention, and I found IAN training, and then I started implementing lifestyle changes in my own life. And around that, I would say a year after I finished my training as a health coach, I started reading everywhere in the science community this new branch called epigenetics. That is not new. It was new. It was always. It's what explains how, from one cell after conception, all different types of cells are being differentiated. And that's due to epigenetic and environment. So if you take cells from an embryo from, let's say, the upper part, and you implant it, you're not going to do that because whatever, for ethical reason, right? But if you do that, they will behave in consideration to the environment. Meaning, what it's actually specifying what's going to happen, or the future of a cell is actually dictated by the environment.
Sure.
And what happened was that until 2, 3, 4, let's say 4 years ago, we didn't have a molecular tool to measure that. We just had the genetic with the Genome Project in 2000. So we sequenced all the genes in our human genome, but we couldn't explain why identical twins, one of them would develop a disease and the other one wouldn't. And we knew it had to do with lifestyle. We knew that, of course, if you do your exercise, if you eat organic and blah, blah, blah. But guess what? We didn't have a specific molecular tool that will measure the impact of sleep deprivation, exercise, right? So that's why I got super excited when it was available for general population, for everybody. So I approached a company that manufactures the test, and they have their labs in Kentucky. And I did the test for the first time, and I was like, blew my mind, the amount of information that we can get just by a few drops of blood, and the estimation of outcomes in terms of risk for chronic diseases. It's basically telling you, this is you right now, and if you don't change your lifestyle, these are the projections. You may develop diabetes in 3 years. You might develop heart disease in 7. It gives you perspective.
Yeah.
And that's what is super important, because we didn't have such a tool. We had screening tools, and when you go to the lab, you get like a picture of your biochemistry inside. But it's like, now right here, it's like driving a car and you see what is around you. That would be your biochemical lab, clinical labs, that you go and take blood and stuff like that. You get your glucose, you get all the markers. The epigenetic proxies, or the epigenetic biomarker proxies, is like the bird view that helps you see around your car. So you can anticipate, there's a car that is turning my way. I should be aware of that, right?
Right.
In this case, this test gives you perspective and compares your unique DNA methylation pattern, compares to someone your age chronologically. If you're a woman, thousands of women with exactly your DNA methylation pattern, and projects and tells you, 80% of those people develop whatever disease X numbers of years after. So it gives you awareness of what happened to you and what could happen unless you change your lifestyle.
Yes. And I just wanted to say that was super helpful to me, because I actually took your test, the one that you recommended, and I was loving it, because what I liked about it is you then went over with me the exact report. And because the test is kind of hard to interpret, I found, and so that was so helpful when you did that for me. And you just said, hey, Terry, these are the areas that you need to pay attention to. And then what I loved about it is you provided me with some actionable steps that I could take. Like, for example, I needed to increase my antioxidants, for example, and one of the supplements that recommended was NAC. So I started taking that. And then, so I wouldn't have known that to take that particular supplement, I just never would have. And the other thing that the report was so helpful for myself and understanding too, is to focus on certain areas of my health. So I remember, in that report, it would actually give you the age of your organs and your hormones. And I was just like, I was really blown away by that, because that particular information, number one, provided me a focus on where I need to be spending my time, as well as the further testing that I wanted to do, So what I loved about that is it gave me my biological age of my organs, and I was so happy with some of them. And then there was this one area where it was like, I have to follow up with my doctor about this particular area. So that's what I loved about it. I gave you that laser focus of what to really cue into. So that's what I love about, the tests that you provide. So great. Yeah. So do you have any particular stories or that you would like to share with anybody, some success stories? Just one that kind of pops out at you, besides, of course, my own?
Yes. I want to say that this organ detail, biological age, organ per organ, allows me to help design a rejuvenation plan that is specifically for that person at that moment, right? Because we're changing over time. But when you take the test, one of the organs may be older than the rest, meaning it's aging faster.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of like everybody should do this, instead of thinking in general, this tool makes possible to make it really customized and say, okay, let's say in my case, for example, my heart was aging faster than the rest. Mm-hmm. So what I did was I put interventions that will support my heart. And then I took another test, right? Mm-hmm. And then I compared and I reverted the aging of my heart.
Wow.
How? Omega-3. Every morning I have half avocado with my crisp bread. And, I start doing more cardio. Now I have my walking pad. You probably saw me during Zooms. I make sure that I have my 10,000 steps per day. Yeah. And I'm proving myself, okay, this works. And instead of thinking, I have to do something for everything. No. I start there. Mm-hmm. And then once I correct this, other things are moving. And that's the beauty of this test. And it's a recent developed algorithm just late last year that was developed. So as we go, I enjoy to start to use technology, data science, algorithms, machine learning, all combined to help us prevent diseases and to become more aware of what's going on inside our bodies.
Yeah. So if somebody were really interested in learning more about you or the the test, how would they get in touch with you, Marisol?
They can go to my website. It's my name, so it's easy. www.maricelrocha with a Z, maricelrocha, CHA.com. And there's a link right there. When you go to my website, you will find a link to schedule a call with me. And then I'll help you decide. I help people decide if, a test at this moment is a good, thing for them. Like, for example, if you're pregnant, it's not a good time to do a test. Mm-hmm. I also recommend to bring, the lab test, conventional test results, because one of the pillars or fundamental pillars of what I do with my age reversal protocols has to do with metabolic health. And I help them, it's easier for me to anticipate if they bring their basic lab number. So from the last physical that they had, it helps to give me the tools to give them a preliminary assessment of how would the journey of rejuvenation look like if they decide to work with me.
Nice. So would you recommend that maybe you can recommend like 3 things that they maybe should do before they actually even have this conversation with you?
Well, the first thing is your why. Purpose. Why do you want to live longer? Why would you like to be 100 years old without pain, independent, remembering all your life? You have to have a purpose. Mm-hmm. That's fundamental. Number two, you have to be, you have to understand that the process is not the same for everybody. It's like an educational ladder. You can be kindergarten, could be elementary school, high school, and beyond, college, right? Mm-hmm. Rejuvenation process is a journey. And for example, people approach me and say, hey, what supplements can I do for whatever, right? I'm like, okay, let's go to the basics. Do you smoke? Do you drink? Your sleep, the way you eat. So there are phases. So the first time we meet helps me to assess the level, right? In their journey. Some people are just in kindergarten. So we're not even talking about interventions that are for high schoolers, right? So we just focus on the basic. But there are people who are like doctor or I had a client who is a doctor and he was ready for more things, right? He covered the basic. So with him, I was working with more advanced interventions. So it all depends. So number 2 would be, be aware that it's a process, it has levels, and be open-minded to, gradually go through that journey. And number 3, I would say, start now, because if not now, then when?
Oh, I love that. Yeah, that's great. That's super. Well, thank you so much, Maricel, for spending a little time today with me, talking more about your particular focus of health. So fun, and always let's keep on being healthy with each other. I want to live to 100 at least with you.
Yes, let's make that happen. Thank you. Thank you so much.